Hello and welcome to the first session of Data Analytics for Internet of Things, which is the one of the badge of the Meta Badge program of IoT in Hospitality. My name is Mohammad Hossein Manshei. You can contact me with this email address if you have any question and concern. If you have not done so far, you can go to develop.fiu.edu and check the content of the course and program. In particular, today I start module 1, and this would be the first part of the lectures for module 1, which would be an introduction to data analytics for Internet of Things. Another thing I want to mention is that for this part, you will have one quiz and one project. You can start working on project from today, say July 7th up to July 17th. And then the deadline for the project is July 17th. I will explain more about the project in our online meeting. And another thing I want to mention, there is a quiz for this session, quiz 1, which would be available from July 15 to July 17. So for this, you will have 10 questions, and it would be related to this module and my explanation. If you just review the lecture notes and listen to my lectures, you would be able to pass this quiz. That's it for now. Before starting and discussing the content of this part of the program, I would like to start with a concept named big data. Let's start. All right, before starting discussing the content of this session, actually I wanted to provide some sort of motivations for you. We know that today we are going to discuss about data analytics for IoT, Internet of Things, and I assume that you have already heard about Internet of Things in previous sessions. You know that we put lots of sensors in different places, and also they can also do some tasks for us, gather data, do some tasks for us. And this concept means Internet of Things, when we connect the things through internet. And today we are going to discuss about data analytics for IoT. But why we are at this stage? Actually, one of the main buzzwords that make this story happen is big data. And to be honest with you, in IT technology, every year or every few months, we have some sorts of new buzzwords. I mentioned a few of them. For example, IoT is one of the buzzwords. Or for example, probably you have heard about cloud computing, when we send our computing over the cloud or other servers, or let's say fog computing or quantum computing. So all of these buzzwords are coming because we make some sort of new technologies. We are facing some new concepts, and we can make benefits out of them. And today I want to say why these buzzwords that started in 1990s is very important for us, because it's directly related to our topic. We are going to talk about data analytics, we are going to talk about IoT, and both of these concepts are related to this big data. That's why I have selected this concept to start with it. And I will explain what big data is and why this big data happens in our life in the next slide with a few numbers. All right, look at these numbers that I have listed here. I start with the first one that at the beginning of 2020, the digital universe was estimated to consist of 44 zettabyte of data. Just to mention, zettabyte is something like 10 to power of 21 bytes, or something equal to 2 to power of 70 bytes. It's too much. Actually after giga, we have tera, peta, exa, and then finally we have zettabytes. So you see that how much data we have generated in 2020. Or look at this number. By 2025, approximately 463 exabyte. So it would be just to have some 463 exabyte, which is this, would be created every 24 hours. So each 24 hours we generate such amount of data. Or look at these numbers that we have from 2019, 2 years ago, and it is just for 60 seconds. If we look the data which is processed by Google in 60 seconds in 2019, it is 3.7 million queries. Or Facebook, 1 million logins per 60 seconds. Or YouTube recorded 4.5 million videos viewed in 60 seconds. Or look at some business like Netflix, that the amount of data that they have they had in 2019 outnumbered that of the US TV industry in 2005. So it shows that the people also prefer to use such platform instead of TV, traditional TV, to see the content. And among all of these numbers, we have something very important in big data, which we call it Internet of Things devices. By 2025, there would be 75 billion Internet of Things devices in the world. So each person has more than 5-6 devices probably connected in different places. It could be mobile phone, Apple Watch, smartwatch, or any other devices that you have, and other ubiquitous computing devices in different places at your home, working place, car. And all of these Internet of Things devices make lots of data that we call it big data. Or look at this number. By 2030, 9 in every 10 people aged 6 and above would be digitally active. So it is very, interesting. Even the kids are more active in terms of digital and generating data, viewing data, and using data. And look at this number. This is also very interesting. As of 2013, experts believe that 90% of the world's data was generated from 2011 to 2012. Look at this. For example, let's assume that this is time. And from the beginning of the world, somewhere, I don't know, till 2011. And then you have 2012. So you generate 90% of data here and then 10% of data here. So all the books, all the paints, all the data that we had here, all the things that we generated here, the people generated from the beginning of the world up to 2011, it's just 10%. And then every year, we have 90% more data added to this. So that shows that we are facing a very, very interesting concept. We call it big data. And why it is useful, let me explain in the next slide. Just in this slide, I wanted to give you some sort of a big picture of how much data we are generating in our world and why this concept could be very important for us. Among all these numbers, I want to mention again that we are focusing in this lecture over this Internet of Things data and all the data that are generated by Internet of Things devices in the world. So why this data is important for us? I prepared a very short list of 10 options here. So first of all, it improves the people's life. I think it doesn't need too much explanation. Right now, with the data that we have, we improve the quality of our lives. So look at, for example, your smartwatch. It can capture lots of information from your body and then send it to your doctor, and then later on the doctor can better control all your parameters, blood parameters and other things. And if there is something happening, he can predict and then provide some sort of, so for example, treatment for you in advance before something bad happened to you. So this is just something I can mention in medical, but it could be in different aspects. For example, in transportation, it could be in education and any other thing. So it improves our quality of life. Then when you want to make a decision, you can do it with some more information that makes your decision better, and you can expect also better outcome. You can obtain the results that you want if you have the data, because you make better decision, and then based on that decision you can predict what happens in the future given the data that you have. You can better find solutions for your problem, because the problem which is well defined is half solved. And then how you can define the problem very well? By data. If you have enough data for the problem, you have better clear picture of the problem that you want to solve. Stop the guessing game. So sometimes if you don't have enough data, you try to guess, and more data will give you more information to better make the decision and avoid some sort of guessing in your decision. You can be strategic in your approach, because you have data, you know what happens if something it is changing, it is positive or negative, the outcome would be better or worse. So then you can better strategically decide which which action you should take. Know what you are doing well, keep track of it all, make the most of your money, access the resources around you, and this list is endless. You can put more things here, and you can show that with more data that you gather, you can do all of these things and better decide about the quality of your life. Okay, we noticed that we have lots of data, such that we can call it big data. But now we should answer this question, that how do we work with data? Because now, actually from the beginning, we had a concept database. Actually, I assume that the audience in this course are coming from different fields, different major. So you are not supposed to know too much about these concepts, but I will try to give you a big picture. So actually, database is our techniques and technology to provide tables, provide interaction, provide structure for the data, and better use the data that we can save in our computer. But all these things are for small data. And now that we have big data, we need some new technologies, not just database. So the database is growing with different and new concepts like data analyst. You may hear these buzzword again these days. Data analyst, data architect, and data engineer, and probably the most important one, business intelligence. Let me write it. Business intelligence, which actually uses lots of artificial intelligence for getting information from the big data that we have. And then all these together, we can say that data scientist, who has the knowledge for data architecture, data engineering, the BI analysis, and data analysis. And we are trying to focus on this concept during this program, and in particular, all the data which is related to IoT in hospitality. I will try to teach the concepts, given some small examples in hospitality, to give you some broad picture of how we can take benefit of big data that we can gather from IoT in hospitality using the techniques that one data scientist might have. So this is a very short, brief introduction to provide enough motivation for you that what would be the main topic of our program. Let me discuss the list of content that I'm going to present in the following sessions in Module 1. So basically, I divided Module 1 to two parts: business intelligence and analytics, and then the second part, introduction to data analytics for IoT. So basically, the first part is quite general. It is not just for IoT. It could be different platforms. But in the second part, we focus on IoT and provide some sort of classification for big data or IoT data analytics overview and challenges that we have for IoT data analytics. But in the first part, among all the concepts that I just explained in the previous slide, I selected business intelligence, and I tried to provide some sort of definition, benefits. I provide a few case studies here in order to discuss about application, challenges, and tools that we have in business intelligence. And I will a little bit explain about business intelligence future trends. And finally, I will discuss one time here about the relation between data and business intelligence. And then another time, again, in this part, I will discuss this issue considering the Internet of Things. All right, so let's start in the next part, in the next lecture, the business intelligence and analytics, and discuss these issues in this part.